Hello and welcome to Smith Street 86.
That is Mitch.
And that is Jordan.
And we are your hosts for another exciting, brilliant, great, fun show. Woohoo! But let's start with our favourite segment, Mitch.
Which one's that?
I think that's the 3D printer segment. 3D!
It's flat. I'm thinking a piece of toast.
Do you know what'd be great on a piece of toast?
Smashed avo.
But I don't think we can eat that one.
I'm hoping it's that.
3D printers are pretty great, but are they a phase? Will we get out of this 3D printer phase?
Speaking of phases, have you noticed how vinyls have been coming back into fashion?
Yes, absolutely. People have them up on their walls.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it's exciting and it's cool and quirky and fun.
The other day I went to the theatre. For tickets, they used vinyls.
Whoa, that's crazy. Let's have a look at a pretty great vinyl store right now.
In the last few years, sales of vinyl records have grown. In Australia alone, vinyl album sales were up 70% last year compared with 2011. The same records your parents used to be so uncool listening to in the 70s are making a resurgence and ending up in the hands of a new, much younger demographic. Just as some of you may have started life thanks to these little numbers, a record also had to start somewhere. We checked out Zenith Records, Australia's last remaining record production plant, and spoke to Paul Rigby as he explains how they're conceived.
We get a master in, we put that into the cutting studio, we cut lacquers, we put on the cutting lathe, we cut the information into nitrocellulose compound. A lot of care is taken with that because the lacquers aren't cheap. Then we plate them, a process of putting a silver layer on it, we put it into our pre-plating tanks, we build up a nickel stamper on that. We then peel that nickel stamper away, which grows through an electroforming process, and then we treat that negative and we make a positive. So the negative is what goes in the machines. The positive is a backup. So once we've made 1,000 records, then that negative, the stamper, it's at the end of its life. There's a whole lot of finishing involved with making the stamper that actually fits the moulds, and then we go in and we test press. I've always just been a sort of a vinyl guy. Turn a CD up, it gets louder. Turn a vinyl up, it gets more cohesive. I think, CDs are easy to make, cheaper to make. For all those reasons, I think they're devalued. But that's me,
From pallets and recycled regrind to a record, to the latest addition in someone's collection. To get us up to speed on exactly who that someone might be, we talked to Renee at Record Paradise.
Collectors of all ages that are into vinyl, that are trying to find those sort of hidden gems for their collections. They want to have a physical product.
So as the world keeps spinning, so too are the records of a once bygone era. Who knows? One day you might end up just as uncool as the first person who owned these little gems.
This week's Top 10!
Yeah!
This week's Top 10 is the most ridiculous sports. Are you ready? Number 10, oil wrestling held in Turkey. Contestants cover themselves in olive oil and try to wrestle each other to the ground.
Ooh, stop.
Number 9, poo sticks, a sport derived from a Winnie the Pooh book. Each player drops a stick into the River Thames and the first stick to make it downstream determines the winner.
They should worship names.
Number 8, bed racing played in northern Yorkshire. Teams of 5 run a 3-kilometre race that includes climbing a steep hill and crossing a river, all while pushing a bed on wheels.
Get in a bed, go on.
Number 7, zorbing, the sport of rolling downhill inside those massive plastic balls. Number 6, extreme ironing, played all around the world. People are photographed doing extreme sports such as skydiving while ironing clothes. Number 5, wife carrying competition held annually in Finland. Competitors carry their wives on their backs over the 250-metre course. The prize, their wife's weight in beer.
Here's to a heavy wife. Go on.
Number 4, World's Gurning Contest, a contest in the UK where you must pull the ugliest face you can to win. Number 3, chess boxing combines the sports of chess and boxing in alternate rounds.
Whoa.
Number 2, bossa ball invented in Spain. The sport is similar to volleyball but incorporates elements of soccer, gymnastics and capoeira.
So much.
Number 1, slam ball, a sport that combines basketball, football, hockey and gymnastics with the mentality of video game sports blended into. Whoa!
What a combination, super sports.
We're going to throw to a quick life hack, but then we'll be right back after the break.
See you later, guys. I'll miss you so much.
Welcome back to Smith Street 86.
We're still here. Wow! But it's time for us to check up on our 3D printer and see what's going on.
Let's go. Oh, it's a thicker, flat thing.
I mean, the plot just thickens, Mitch.
I think it's a house.
You think it's a house?
I think it's a house.
I think it could be a top hat or, as we were saying before, a slice of toast. And I love toast. Who knows? Oh my God.
So our friends went out today and asked people on the streets, what are you doing? And I think it's time that we check that out.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Jack, back.
What are you doing today, Damien?
Having a walk around the beach.
My day off, so I thought I'd enjoy the sun, get some food.
Oh no, and I'm pissing you on your day off. Oh, I should feel bad, but hey, it's TV business, I suppose.
I'm just going to the super clinic.
Working.
What's your name there, bud?
Sam, mate.
Sam.
Man.
Sam.
Oh,
and
man was like the instrument.
Yeah, like everything
bro.
is man. These
Yeah,
days,
yeah.
that's true. Come to St Kilda often, or?
No.
No. Gotta give me something more than that.
Today, I'm having a few meetings and just enjoying the city.
Job searching.
Job searching.
Bar work or... So if anyone sees us out there who needs a barman or...
Just getting out of the house.
Take baby for a walk.
Yeah, going for a walk, getting some sun.
Oh, good.
Cruising up the beach and going down to, is it Luna Park?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, going down there and have a look.
Luna Park.
Luna Park, okay. And we enjoy Luna Park?
Yeah.
You haven't gone there yet? God, I heard it's pretty good. What about you? Same thing?
Yeah.
Who's the better barman? Who's going to be at the job first?
Oh, yeah, I've never worked at a bar before.
Oh, well qualified. Please hire this guy here. You go to cafes much? You love the coffee around here, or what's?
No, not really.
Hello. What a cutie. Oh man, I'm not the hot spot of this shop, that's for sure. Whereabouts are you working, Lisa?
Oh, just on the street, but in a shop.
In the shop. And what are you planning on doing today, Corey?
Get some food, go to the beach, probably have a nap.
Now we're heading towards like Fairfield Boathouse. We'll do some boating and all.
Oh, you got a boat, sir.
I don't have a boat. I'll just hire one.
What are we having for lunch today? What are we thinking?
Fish.
Fish?
That's it.
That's about usual.
Fish and a juice.
Fish and a juice. I could do this, eh? Hey. All right, guys. Well, with that, we kill the music, I suppose. Smith Street 86 rock. Woo!
So what have you been up to recently?
I've just been working to the...
Are you right?
Yeah, I'm just...
Jordan? Oh my God, she's died. Death is so mysterious. I think we should go to the next package to really learn about it a little bit more.
You should kiss her. She probably just needs a kiss.
Can someone get this off me?
Kiss her.
Everybody dies. That's the only guarantee in life. It's a boy! But it's something that most of us never think about. We all know of someone who has passed on.
Really cool episode lined up for you today.
We pay our respects, attend a funeral, and in our own time we move on.
Bye.
But what mysteries lie behind death's door? Will we ever know? Probably not. Jumping at the chance to get off social media, I, Taylor James, born 14th of August 1990 till still unknown, decided to find out.
Once we have a person's loved one in our care, we would wash the body, wash the hair. If it's a man, we'd shave them, And then we encourage family to supply clothing so that when they do come and see their loved one, they might be dressed in something familiar that they've worn before. Just before the viewing, the funeral director that's looking after family likes to put their own personal touch, whether we place their hands together and just make the person look like they're really comfortable in the casket. We sometimes use a bit of makeup to give that, that lifelike appearance, because people do go quite pale after passing. So we try as best we can to make that person look as lifelike, I guess, as we can. Funerals are one day where you really are the star of the show. It's just unfortunate that you're not in a different way to be there and enjoy it.
With funeral arrangements sorted, I was interested in where my corpse would spend the rest of eternity. Respectfully, I chose not to take the cameras to the cemetery. Instead, here's footage of suburban houses that clearly people live in. And a rubbish bin. And a completely random block of flats. This neighbourhood is so big! As I get into shape for my inevitable demise, I pondered what would happen to our furry friends.
Excited. Hi.
Hi.
First off, what's your name?
I'm Natalie Delaney John.
Okay, and what do you do?
I'm a taxidermist.
In this world, when would people need taxidermy?
The most obvious one is, I'm a hunter, I go and shoot something, and then perhaps I want to have, a trophy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what people associate taxidermy with.
Yeah.
But that's certainly not my clientele. And the other part is, people wanting a beautiful piece for their house. We get a lot of calls from people wanting to preserve their pets. Definitely got room in the art world as well. It's very up and coming in the art world, and an interesting kind of medium.
Whether on a shelf or in a box, we all deal with grief in different ways. First step is to acknowledge it's coming. No one's sure about what happens in the afterlife. Maybe that's what scares us most. But for what happens directly after death, I'm saving myself a spot in the back lawn next to my old cat Scruffles. YOLO!
Hi Natalie, how are you going?
Good, thanks.
How do you think people deal with death these days? Because you're someone who obviously deals with it a lot in taxidermy.
I just think it's a real privilege to be able to take something that's passed and learn all about its anatomy and put it back together. And it was only when I started getting these sorts of threats that I realised that people are really fearful of death. And, my philosophy is that once something's passed, it's passed, and I'm working with, a skin or something like that. My values didn't necessarily align with other people's values that perhaps they believed, the spirit lives on or something within that body.
Yeah, totally.
We don't really talk about death or our own mortality, or we don't even really celebrate it. Like, it seems to be a Western issue. I feel like we have no sense of ceremony and I think maybe it's just fear-based because we don't talk about these things. We don't have a process. We're not taught from, as a child, this is what we do when death comes, and we celebrate the life and,
Yeah, totally.
So I think, maybe education on smaller elements rather than trying to
blame it all on one thing that people don't really understand.
Or trying to solve issues of people's relationship with mortality. That's not really the answer.
Yeah.
I think talking about little topics where maybe there's a disconnect or some confusion, that might be a better way to go about it. It's important to, one, understand this industry, and also to talk about topics like hunting or what have you, because somehow taxidermy seems to get caught up in the big issue of hunting.
Yeah, totally.
And whether people are educated on that topic or not. That's been the catalyst for me wanting to open up a dialogue about taxidermy and talk about, the ethics of hunting and things like that. And I never knew that would become part of my focus, having a dialogue about these things.
It's been really great and interesting having you in, Natalie. Thank you so much for coming down to Smith Street 86.
No worries, thank
Cheers.
you.
Oh, hey. Welcome back to Smith Street 86, everybody.
I made it. I feel a little bit less alive, but I'm here.
Great.
we're going to have another look at the 3D printer and see what's up.
Oh my God, it's an even thicker flat
It's
thing.
a book. It's a book. It's got to be a hard copy of J.K. Rowling's No Vacancy or something like that.
I reckon it's a box.
It could be a tram.
Oh,
Mitch.
Speaking of trams,
Yeah.
I think it's time for our Tales from the Tram story.
Yeah!
It was just another day and I was about to hop on my usual bus after school, but little did I know this was going to be the strangest, most random bus experience of my life so far. Beside me, two strange men approached to hop onto my bus. My damn bus. And trust me when I say strange. One of the guys was dressed as Ned Kelly, and the other was dressed as a cowboy. His outfit complete with a hat and a little gold sheriff's badge. Also, they both had toy guns to go with their outfits. I mean, they probably shouldn't be walking around with fake guns in public, but if it works with the outfit, why not, right? Just as the bus started to make its way to the next stop, the two men started to talk. And then they started to argue about something in the 1800s, which is when they drew their guns from their holsters and started a little shootout scene with their toy guns on the bus. But then that quickly became an actual fight, and they weren't just playing around anymore. Everyone on the bus just sat there in shock because no one wanted to intervene. Like these two grown men in costumes were in an actual fist fight over history. What is the world coming to? The driver ended up intervening, stopping the bus after it got serious, actually throwing them off the bus. You could say that the rest of the passengers on board had a pretty good laugh about it too.
If you have a funny or unusual story that you'd like to share with Jordan or I about Melbourne's public transport, contact us on Facebook or Twitter, or both.
Yeah, that'd be great. I want to hear more stories about people wearing weird costumes, please, if I can request a few.
I tell you what, Jordan, you need prosthetics and special effects makeup.
Oh, of course, special effects makeup. I don't know much about it, Mitch. I don't know much about it.
Well, we have a story about it coming up right now, so you're in luck.
I'm in luck! I hit the jackpot!
Let's throw to the special effects makeup story.
Yes!
I got into makeup when I was probably around 12, 13 because from a young age I always loved watching horror films and the fantasy characters come to life. So I always wanted to be able to do that one day, and yeah, basically that's what I'm doing now. My name is Julian DeMace, I'm 18 years old and I'm currently studying a diploma of cinematographic makeup in hopes of becoming a prosthetics technician one day. The work I'm going to do today is inspired by Odd Studios' Hilltop Hoods video. They got this pig mask which I was really fascinated by. So I want to use like a pig prosthetic on the face and try and make like this animalistic fantasy character. It may not be realism, but it's going to be really cool. I got started on prosthetics and special effects when I was probably around 14 because I always wondered how the makeup looked so realistic when I knew obviously it was all fake, so I just wanted to be able to recreate that kind of work. What got me started on special effects and prosthetics was seeing the realism on film, such as one of the memorable films I watched was Wes Craven's Scream, and I remember seeing the opening scene where Drew Barrymore was hung up by a tree and I thought it was so real. I thought she was actually dead, and every time they filmed it, she would have to redo this death scene, which was really amazing. So I always really wanted to recreate that, and hopefully one day I will be able to. A particular style I'm really interested in and love doing is fantasy and creature work, as I just love how it's so different to just like doing normal makeup or high fashion, and it can just go really out of this world. My inspiration for my work mainly comes from nature and creatures like animals and all that, just because I like how they're so organic and I can just make something like that look realistic in my work. People such as like Tim Burton inspire me a lot, just because I find his way really unique and different compared to other films. So I just really like to take points from that, just make my work very different and diverse compared to other people's work. The design process for my characters normally starts from surfing the web, just getting all these images and then merging them all in like a drawing or painting to create a face chart, just so I can try different things, see what works. Normally I used to like just go crazy and just draw up this really cool design of the character and the body, just so I can know how it will all look when it comes together. In my course, we learn everything from beauty makeup to historical makeup to the big prosthetics and character work. We did such things as like bold caps and body painting and airbrushing. So we learned a lot of different techniques we can use in the film industry that just makes us really diverse, so we can do a lot of different things. I'm striving to just challenge myself, so in the future I can just face anything what comes, as I want to be a prosthetics technician for films, running my own department, being a HOD on a blockbuster film, which would be the dream, but anything within inside the makeup department of film and television is where I want to be. I see makeup more as creating art, as the amount of work and detail that goes into it. It is an art form, and I just think it recreates something, which is what art does, and it's an expression, just like people drawing on paper, just our canvas is skin.
Mitch, I wonder, now call me crazy, but we've got 3D printers, we've got SFX prosthetic makeup. Do you think we could 3D printer a beard and then stick it onto my face?
I really think we could.
Well, we should try that. Maybe that's what's happening with a 3D printer.
Meanwhile, did you just say 3D printer?
I did say 3D printer.
Oh my God, we have to check up on that.
Let's check up on the 3D printer. Yeah, girl. Oh, okay. No, it's clear to me that's a slice of lemon cake. I've seen it before.
I feel like the exposure is too much to really tell what that is.
It's definitely white.
I thought it was blue.
It could be a blueberry. Perhaps it's a bunch of grapes.
Oh my
wow,
God.
Where did you get that from?
It's a car.
From. Thank you so much to our friends at 3D Superstore. This is mad.
Thank you so much, 3D Printer Superstore. If you want to keep up to date with Jordan and I and this fabulous show, please check out our Facebook and Twitter. So the band that we've got to play us out this evening is The Dull Joys, playing Under Your Dress. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Here's to my self-love, to my cowardice and self-doubt. When I hate loving around me, and a woman's not allowed. And I wanna hide under your dress, I wanna hide under your dress, 'cause you're the gal I love best, and I wanna hide under your dress. It's warm and it's sweet, I wanna hide under your dress, away from these dirty streets, under your dress. Here's to the girl I love best, I wanna hide under your dress. Can't you see arms afraid of passion? With far too much pride. There's only one place to look, one place to hide, and I wanna hide under your dress.